And welcome to another edition of Anthony and Ari Unfiltered, a weekly radio show with former Congressman Anthony Esposito and Inspector General, Department of Labor, in conversation with Assemblyman Ari Brown on the hot button issues of the day. Here now are your hosts.
Thanks, Zev. A little sad today. I don't have my partner right next to me, but he's doing important work for the people as always. We're here on the eve of Thanksgiving, a wonderful time for Jew and Christian alike. I love that we're able to share this holiday, but we have some important issues at hand. Congressman, how you feeling? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there, Ari. It's it's Thanksgiving week. There's a lot going on. I too wish that I was sitting next to you in our studio for the show, but I appreciate you allowing me to be mobile today. Got a lot of things going on, and I too am very thankful for the time of year as we enter the holiday season. I think we have much to be thankful for. I think the focus of our nation and is positive. I think that we've seen a lot of good things since January, and I'm looking forward to next year and the work that we can accomplish with taking back New York State and growing President Trump's majority in the House of Representatives.
That'll be a wonderful year, and that actually will be the 100th year next year of the Thanksgiving Day Parade. This year is the 99th. I hear there's going to be some crazy winds. They wanted to bring another 4 balloons out, but maybe the winds will be at 32 miles an hour, and I think they only allow it at 21. So hopefully the parade will move forward with all the balloons and fanfare, and like you said, next year to be a better year for us.
We have the 100th anniversary of the parade, 250th anniversary of this beautiful nation, and a little personal privilege. It's also the 100th anniversary of my hometown of the village of Island Park.
Beautiful. I remember the bicentennial, the 200th birthday. It was such a massive, big deal on TV and parades throughout the year. Coins were made. It really was.
I'm pretty certain that President Trump will not let us down. It'll be one of the greatest celebrations we've ever seen.
I think you're right. We have to keep the nation safe during this period of time, and this is what I wanted to touch and talk about. There was a violent mob that took over Queens neighborhood. There were 50 to 100 cars doing these donuts. No one took responsibility, no Antifa or any name like that. But it really was shocking and scary. This is a fine neighborhood. One of my sons actually lives right nearby. It's a neighborhood called Malba. It's the Whitestone area. A couple was assaulted. A security guard that tried to break this up was also attacked. Cars aflame. Here in a nice suburban neighborhood. And you and I always talk about that because we're suburban guys. We're Long Islanders. We put politics aside and try to preserve the suburban way of life from our city-centric colleagues. What do you make of this whole thing, what happened in Queens, Congressman?
So I think it's a prelude. I think if we were at a movie, we're watching the coming attractions of what New York City under Zohran Mamdani is probably going to look like, lawlessness and the fact that I think he's going to do his best to handcuff the very police that have taken an oath to go out there and protect and serve. I mean, if you just look at some of the individuals that he placed on his transition committee, it's just complete hypocrisy. Some of the names that he's put on, a committee for public safety, and these are individuals who have legitimately called for the defunding and dismantling of police. I mean, one of them is actually an author of a book, basically talking about the defunding and the collapse of policing in America. So that's what we're dealing with. And I also believe that the conversations that have been had and the pieces that have been written about this mass exodus of law enforcement professionals, especially from the NYPD, I think it's real. And I think that people who have the eligibility to retire, and even those who have thought to themselves, well, perhaps I'm going to try for, a place like the Nassau County Police Department where, I have a boss and a county executive, Bruce Blakeman, and a commissioner and Patrick Ryder who support us, who believe in us, who encourage us. I think we're going to see a mass exodus. And when you see that mass exodus and you don't have enough police on the street to handle, a 911 call or enough sector cars on the road to handle, you're going to see delays in responding, and you're going to see mayhem like unfolded the other night in Queens.
You don't have to worry about that. He's going to have his social workers out there dealing with the situation. You know, you mentioned our great county executive, Bruce Blakeman. I've been reading and I've heard him speak about this endless times, that he'll be installing surveillance cameras, license plate readers, facial recognition tech along the, I don't know, it's like 12 or 15 miles of border that we Long Islanders share with Queens to protect against this Mamdani mayoralty. Have you heard anything directly from the county executive?
Yeah.
Or you know anything further?
I was just with the county executive the other night, and we were talking about the idea, and you know, it really was born, something that really has grown out of September 11th, especially in New York City. You know, there's a joint operations center that's located in One Police Plaza that you can look at cameras from literally every corner of New York City, and then there's a satellite office in which they call the Lower Manhattan Security Initiative, which allows them to also not only look at cameras, but license plate readers, cameras in the subways, cameras that take in everyone that's either paying or not paying to get on the subways. I mean, it's a huge endeavor, but that is one of the reasons as to why, you know, that County Executive Blakeman was elected and reelected in a county with 120,000 more Democrats than Republicans, and he was reelected by big numbers, because we always say that, you know, public safety is not partisan. Public safety shouldn't be Democrat or Republican. It should be exactly what it is that we fight for. And that's one of the reasons as to why, you know, during my time in Congress, I was able to deliver almost $3.5 million just to the Nassau County Police Department to help build what I believe is one of the state-of-the-art. You're not going to find a similar one across the nation, in our Nassau County Police Department training village, which gives police officers the ability to train in real time in what looks like communities all over Nassau County. And this is another step in making Nassau County safer, in installing these cameras, the license plate readers, and giving the law enforcement professionals on the ground all of the information, technology, and resources that they need to keep Nassau County the safest county in America. Because we also need to take into consideration that right now, you know, the county and the New York City Police Department, as well as surrounding areas in Westchester and others, the information sharing has been excellent. You know, the information that's shared between the New York City Police Department and the Nassau County Police Department has been paramount. There's great relationships between Police Commissioner Ryder and the Commissioner's office and executive brass in the NYPD, as well as intelligence that's shared between gang databases and obviously the Joint Terrorist Task Force, and is really one of the things that I've been trying to highlight every chance that I get, because I think it's one of the most important. Those relationships and that sharing of information and intelligence is at risk with Zohran Mamdani becoming the mayor of the city of New York. And I applaud County Executive Blakeman for taking the first necessary steps in order to really, you know, perhaps have to rely on only the intelligence and information that we get here in Nassau County, because that streamline of information could be shut down pretty quickly by this communist mayor, Zohran Mamdani.
Okay. Congressman, we need you back in office. We Long Islanders need more of guys like you. Hopefully you'll be back very soon in that regard. I saw, talking about security, safety, and lunacy, I saw on the front page of the New York Post, redistribute the wealth to us. This was in reference to the New York City Council trying to sneak in a 16% pay raise. It'll actually one of Mamdani's first items on his desk. They tried to do it before, but there was a timeline issue that legally it wouldn't work. And who knows, they may do it anyway. So in other words, this will raise the pay of the New York City Council from $148,500 to $172,500, and the mayor from $258,750 to $300,500. It's not the point of the amount. It's the way it was done. We had the same thing in the Assembly and the Senate. Of course, the Republicans voted it down. A lot of us give much of those sums to charity because there's no mechanism of turning it away, but we can give it away in that regard. But here it's a blatant cash grab from a guy that's claiming that people are going hungry on the street, and to redistribute the wealth, he's going to redistribute it to himself. What do you say?
I mean, it's really hypocrisy is really what it comes down to. Listen, I am someone who believes that elected officials, should be paid a fair wage. Many people think that being an elected official, you just get elected and you show up to a meeting and that's that. I think you and me both know, and the people that we represent know that we put countless hours into the jobs that we have.
You literally put 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Yeah, really, that's the truth. Anthony D'Esposito never stops. Everybody knows that.
My issue is not so much with the salary or even the raise. I mean, I think with there should be some sort of cost of living increase, but the issue is that you just had a guy who he was now the mayor-elect, who ran an entire campaign based on affordability and the fact that we should be giving everything away for free, government-run grocery stores, free cell phones, you name it. He wanted to give it away for free buses, free transit, but yet he is okay with taking a $300,000 salary from the same people who can't afford to ride the buses, can't afford to shop for their own groceries, can't afford to jump on the subway, and can't afford to live because, as he said, affordability is the number one issue in New York City.
And isn't this the way most communist regimes work? It's always the people in the government that live off the public dime, live in wealth. I mean, I hate to say it, but even Zelensky, the guy became a billionaire over that war. This is Mandani. He's a silver spoon elitist, talking about taxing the rich to oblivion, driving the New York economy into the ground, and his first move will be the exact opposite of what he's been proposing.
And redistributing, and in quotes, redistributing wealth to more white people.
To his own self and to his own self. I want to touch for a moment on another issue that's always bothered me. We were lucky enough in the assembly to have Riley Gaines come up, and we had a nice press conference on the $1 million staircase regarding men in women's sports. I have 7 kids. I have 3 daughters. I have 1 granddaughter. To put a man in a women's locker room, to put a man to compete against women who've worked hard, toiled for years, only to have this honor stolen from them by a male is unseemly. It's not right. It's dishonest. We had this happen again with the world's strongest women contest. Jamie Brooke or something like that originally won, but then it was given over rightfully to Andrea Thompson. Turned out, and they said they didn't know, that this Jamie Brooke was actually a man. I mean, I looked at pictures of her. I don't know how you can't tell that she's not a man. But could you imagine that? Okay, they tried to right a wrong, but look at all the semifinalists who they're not going to get that moment to shine that they worked for 10, 20 years again. Maybe they'll get their accreditation, they'll get their trophy, but their moment to shine was stolen from them. And putting the award aspect of it aside, the fact that they'd have to worry about being in a locker room, our daughters being in a locker room with these men, is just, I don't understand these liberals. When I was a kid, I'm obviously a lot older, the whole feminist movement came about, but it seems like the feminists have just turned their head away from women. It's just something that I understand because I see what the radicals do, but it's something that we have to put a stop to. And I know you've been a big advocate for protecting women's rights, Congressman.
Yeah. It's whether it was my time in the New York City Police Department or my time in elected office, I always was someone who did everything and anything I could to protect women's rights and to make sure that those who were victims of crimes, that their attacker were brought to justice. But it really is mind-boggling that we're still having this conversation, and the idea that the individuals who are defending this ridiculousness are the same people who claimed that they were part of the Me Too movement, who claimed that they were, and they still claim that the Democrats are the party who protect women. Well, how do you claim to be the party who protects women when you're allowing men into women's locker rooms? I mean, as you said, forget about the awards, forget about the trophies, just the idea that we think or they think it's okay that a man is in a women's locker room simply because they say they are no longer a man, they want to be a woman, is just beyond ridiculousness. And the idea that, like, I just feel, and it's just so beyond frustrating, because this seems like such a common sense issue. And in a world that we live in where it's become so partisan and so divided, you would think that we could, as elected officials, as representatives, that we could agree on this, that yes, when a person is born, they're either a man or a woman. And moving forward, if they were born a man, they should be in the men's locker room. If they were a woman, they should be in the women's locker room. And then you have people like Laura Gillen, for example, who goes to Congress and has an opportunity to protect women's sports, to actually put her voting card in the machine and say, yes, I want to protect women's sports. And what does she do? She votes against it. And her reasoning, she thinks that the coaches should decide.
Yeah, to make matters worse, and this part really, I lose sleep over it, that they're putting men in the women's prisons also. I've heard of rapes and situations like that. It's the craziness that's going on. People say they don't understand it. I understand it. It's to destroy our Judeo-Christian values, our godly values, to put God and decency out of everything. This is why they try to take away Thanksgiving and Christmas. Anything and everything to make our society just like Russia and all these communist regimes. And we're going to see it more with the Mamdani mayoralty. And I wonder what's going to happen. Is he going to walk next year's Thanksgiving parade? What's going to happen with the Christmas tree lighting next year? I wonder. I kind of understand what's going to be happening. I'd like to touch on one last thing.
How about the menorah lighting?
Menorah lighting, that's a whole other thing. Don't forget, I got to get into DC.
How about the Israel parade? How about that? What is that going to be like?
Yeah. And what about arresting Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Anyway, one other, I'm in the construction business. Trucking is very important to my industry. I noticed that the New York's green light law, which allows non-citizens to get licenses, has really come to a head. I saw that Border Control arrested 30 illegals. In other words, these people come, they don't speak English, they come to America, and New York State allows them, and other states allows them, California was very big on this, to get licenses, CDLs, without even speaking English. And it's caused mayhem on the roads because they can't read the signs, among other concerns. What are your thoughts on this, Congressman, before we wrap up?
First, I want to thank everyone for joining us on Anthony and Ari Unfiltered on 102.7 FM and WSNR 620 AM. It's been an absolute great experience to do this show with you weekly. But to your question, listen, first, I must say that I give kudos to, not just because he's a friend, but our transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, has made this something that is really at the forefront of the work that he's doing as Secretary of Transportation. As a matter of fact, I just wrote an article in the Five Towns Jewish Times about making transportation safe again. And one of the things that he's focused on is the idea that blue cities and states have allowed illegal migrants who don't know the rules of the road, who can't read the signs, who don't speak English, to not just receive driver's license, but take CDL licenses to operate some of the largest rigs that are on our American roadways. And we've seen over the last 6 to 8 months that it's not just dangerous, it's deadly. People have lost their lives because these individuals are driving around the streets of America not qualified, not able to, again, read the signs, don't know the rules of the roads, and are putting people in serious danger. And not only are they putting people in danger and killing people, but I think we also must focus on the fact that they're taking away good paying jobs from legal Americans. I mean, that's also what we should be focused on. You know, you have, again, the Democrats have just become the party of hypocrisy, where they support these illegals getting driver's license and CDL licenses, but they also want to claim to be the party of labor. Well, you can't be both. You can't give driver's license and CDL licenses to illegal migrants that are taking away, in some cases, good union jobs, and want to be both. But it's more of the same from the Democrats. They're talking out of both sides of their mouths, and as they're doing it, they're making the streets of America less safe.
Congressman, this is why we desperately need you back. I think we're wrapping up the show. We have another minute or two. I just want to wish all of our listeners a very happy and a healthy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family. Like I said originally, whether Jew or Christian or Muslim, this is a time that we can all share in the beauty of America, beauty of our country, giving thanks to our God for all that he has given us. We live in a great country. We may disagree on a lot of things, but with people like Anthony D'Esposito, hopefully soon back in Congress and as our Inspector General, he'll make things right, and we will all work hard to achieve that goal.
Well, thanks, Ari. We'll see. We'll definitely see what the future holds. But yes, a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving to everyone who listens to our show. You know, this is as I kind of started off with. I think this is the time of year where we really do our best to put aside our partisan disagreements and come together as a community, as a nation. You know, us living here on Long Island and the communities that we're part of and represent. Whether it's, you know, lighting the community menorah or lighting the community Christmas tree, this certainly is a time of celebration. It's a time of hope. It's a time of light. It's a time of looking forward to next year and all that we can accomplish. And I do believe that as a nation, we have much to celebrate and be thankful for this Thanksgiving. I think that we have what we're going to see a growing economy. I think that there's real progress and peace in some places throughout the globe, thanks to the current administration and President Trump. I think that the securing of our borders has changed the lives of many people throughout this nation. Obviously, we're still combating the nearly 15 million people that were let across our borders during the Biden-Harris administration. But nonetheless, there is much to be thankful for. And for me, you know, the family, friends, and good health. You know, we say it often. You know, there are many opportunities for us to share with our family and friends during this holiday season, but we also should remember that this is a time to look out for others, to support those less fortunate, to support our food banks and our soup kitchens. And you know, we all know people in our community that perhaps are at a rough patch, and we should do our part to share our harvest with others to make our communities a little bit better, a little bit happier, and a little bit safer. And I look forward to the year ahead. And I know just to end, I know that tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and we're all going to be celebrating and joining with family and friends. And I want to thank those men and women who wear the uniform and are working tomorrow to keep us safe throughout not just New York State, but throughout America. And obviously the men and women who wear the uniform defending this beautiful country in every corner of the globe. I want to wish them a happy Thanksgiving. And then Friday, you know, we have what is recognized as the biggest shopping day of the year. And I just want to end off with, I'm hoping to see you Friday night, right? Oh, no, it's Saturday night is the big event.
Midnight Madness in Cedarhurst. Tens of thousands of people will be here. Well said, Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. I'm lucky. We're all lucky to have you as our friend. Zev, thanks for another great show.
Great program. Happy Thanksgiving.